Ah, the birds are chirping. The grass is growing and the flowers are blooming. And my allergies are on the frickin' fritz. So you know what that means. That's right, spring is here. And as you know, I love my boozy fragrances. But it's time for me to take my warm, rich, spicy boozy fragrances and put them to the back of my arsenal. And bring forth my lighter, fresher, more crisp boozy fragrances. And today I have 7 of those that are perfect for spring. So stay tuned. Cue that intro. What's going on, my beautiful fragrance family? I hope each and every one of you are doing frickin' fantastic today. And welcome back to My2Scents. My name is Brian, and this is the channel all about helping boost your confidence through the art of fragrance and helping you become a lasting scent memory. All right, so I figured that I would start busting out, the Hawaiian shirts, even though, yeah, I know it's not really summertime yet. Well, if you lived in the great state of Tennessee, you'd understand why. We get about 2, maybe 3 weeks worth of spring. It goes from nice to stupid hot, stupid sticky, and stupid muggy like that. I don't know what the weather is like where you're at. Go ahead and let me know down below. I know some of you are kind of like me. You don't get much of a spring. You go straight into summer. Before we get into my boozy list, let me know what your favorite boozy fragrances are in the hotter months. But let's find out what fragrances got me feeling love drunk in today's Whiffs and Sniffs. So coming up first is going to be from the house of Naughton and Wilson, and this is Viveur. Now the reason I love rocking this in the spring, in the summer, is because it's fresh. It's elegant, it's sophisticated, yet has a nice edgy side to it. And the boozy note that this bad boy's got rocking in it is gonna be gin. And you can't have gin without a nice cooling juniper berry, which is also in here. But it's not just that. It's not just gin. You're not just spraying this on and gonna be walking around smelling like Beefeater, okay? This has a really nice mandarin orange up top, some lemon, some lime. You also have some nice herbal green notes like bay leaf and basil. You got some lemongrass in there. There's also a really nice spiciness to it. So you're gonna get some clove and some black pepper. In the full dry down, you get some oak moss, some vetiver, some patchouli, some cedar. Very masculine notes for a very fresh, masculine, and boozy fragrance. This is just an elegant fragrance. It's a very sophisticated fragrance, but it also makes you smell like an elegant, sophisticated man who also enjoys having fun. This fragrance reminds me of a seersucker suit. I don't know why, but it just does. I could see myself rocking a really nice seersucker suit, walking around with a tall gin and tonic or a mojito, rocking Bon Viveur. It's got a little bit of sassiness to it. Now, it does have that, kind of classic style perfumery to it, but it has a lot of nice modern edges. I think it would be a great fragrance to rock in the spring and summer as your signature scent. It's fresh, it's cooling, it's almost a little effervescent. That gin in it is really nice. But if you're gonna be hanging out with your friends, sipping on a nice gin and tonic, might as well smell like one. So I highly suggest checking out if you haven't yet. Naughton and Wilson, Bon Viveur. Next up on the list comes from the house of Guerlain, and this is Homme Eau de Parfum. Oh man, a mojito in a glass. Well, all mojitos come in a glass. A fragrant mojito in glass. This starts out with a bright blast of mint, lime, and rum, which, if you didn't know, makes a really nice mojito. Which this smells like a tall glass of mojito. This isn't just like a mojito, though it does have a lot of that freshness like a mojito does up top, where it's very cooling, it's refreshing, you get that really nice mint, and the mint adds a nice spicy and cooling aspect to it. It also adds a nice greenness to the background, and you're also gonna get some nice floral notes. Now, I see these floral notes being more like your white florals. Maybe a little bit of jasmine, there might be a touch of lavender in there, and maybe a little bit of clary sage. In the full dry down, you're going to get vetiver, patchouli, and some woods. I also get some nice musky characteristics that are really helping support everything and helping pop everything off. This isn't exactly the longest lasting fragrance. I get about 4 to 6 hours, depending on whether or not I spray it on my clothes. And if I'm rocking a shirt like this, and I'm rocking a fragrance like this, you're damn right I'm going to be spraying it on my clothes. Guerlain Homme is fantastic, especially for the price you can find it at. You can find this at discounters anywhere from, $40 to $60, again, depending on when you find it and where you buy it. It's refreshing, it's cooling, it smells very, again, elegant, sophisticated. It's Guerlain. It's French perfumery at its finest. So if you like fresh, refreshing fragrances, if you like mojitos, then definitely check out Guerlain Homme EDP. This next one comes from the house of Kilian, and this one is Verte. I love this fragrance, but you have to be a lover of absinthe. You have to be a lover of licorice, because that's basically what this fragrance is. This is a very green fragrance, but it also has violet leaf in it. And the violet leaf adds a really nice watery characteristic. And I really enjoy what this fragrance does, because yes, it has a realistic absinthe up top, which I adore. I've always enjoyed absinthe. And again, you have to be a lover of absinthe or licorice or star anise to really appreciate this fragrance. But I think Kilian nailed the scent profile of absinthe. But you also get this really nice vetiver that's actually adding a nice woody characteristic to the base to allow that absinthe to sit on top of, and the absinthe on my skin lasts for freaking ever. I think Verte is fantastic. It's green, it's bitter, it's herbal, it's sweet, it's beautiful. So if you enjoy absinthe, if you enjoy licorice, check out Verte. All right, so this next one doesn't necessarily, it's not super boozy, all right? It just has a boozy note in it, and it's got gin in it. And it's Lolita Lempicka, and this is Green Lover. Now, I do get a really refreshing juniper berry, like a nice coolness, a nice cooling aspect coming from the juniper berry, which obviously is where that gin note is coming from. But there's some other herbal qualities like mint, some really nice green mint. And that green mint mixed in with that gin accord or that juniper berries creates a very refreshing experience. And then it does this really nice transition. As it starts drying down, this vanilla and musks really take over. Through and through, Green Lover, I think, is a beautifully blended fragrance. It's not exactly green though. But, you know, Lolita Lempicka is known for being eco-friendly. They're known for being a lover of Mother Nature. I think this is a great fragrance. Not overly boozy, but very refreshing. But also has some depth to it. It has got some warmth to it. This is something that I could see myself wearing on a nice date night out. I believe this has got enough going on in it to keep you smelling fresh, but also keep you smelling sexy on a nice spring evening out or summer evening out. And for the price that you can find Green Lover at, I think it's 1000% worth a whiff and sniff. Thank you to Michael over at I Smell for, you know, throwing his 2 cents in on this and being the one who inspired me to really want to pick this up. Watching his review, I was like, okay, I gotta get it now. I gotta know. And knowing's half the battle, and now I know that Green Lover is freaking fantastic. So definitely check it out. One of my favorites for the spring and summer, coming from the house of Amouage, and you guys probably already know, but it's Sunshine Man. Now, Sunshine Man is a fragrance that I like to wear all year round. This has enough freshness and enough depth that I think that it can be worn in any season. It starts out with a really nice orange. You're also getting a really nice brandy, a really nice sweet and boozy brandy. The way that I picture this is like walking down the beach with a really nice glass of brandy. And as you're sipping it, you're also getting wafts of the orchards around you. And from the nice fields of flowers wafting around you, you're also going to get some clary sage, you get some beautiful vanilla, and then some woods. And the woods are more along your white woods, like cedar. I think this is a beautiful fragrance through and through. It's very long lasting. It's very fresh, but it's also got enough depth to it to where it could be worn all year round, depending on what climate you live in. But I love what this fragrance does. I've always been a Sunshine Man. I do love Beach Hut Man, which is also a great one for the spring, but Sunshine Man is one that I think has a little bit more versatility to where you can wear it all year round. Now, definitely going to be a little bit more expensive. It does pop up at discounters, and that's where I would recommend you finding it. But see if you can't find a decant or a sample and see for yourself. Definitely check out Sunshine Man. So this next one is another one that I would love to wear in the evenings. And actually, I had one of my subscribers say, hey, I can't believe you didn't add this into your spring list for Terence Hughes. So I'm adding it here, because it's nice and boozy and it fits in this list perfectly. So this is Notorious from Terence Hughes. Now, Terence Hughes Notorious has a beautiful rum note in it, but the rum note actually comes in a little bit further into the fragrance. It starts out with a bunch of citrus. So you're gonna get mandarin orange, I think. You also get some bergamot, I believe some lemon, and then you roll into this beautiful tonka and vanilla. And that tonka and vanilla kind of segue you into the rum booziness. And the tonka in this plays a little bit more of the role of like coumarin. So it's sweet, not as powdery. There's also a really nice heliotrope in this. And the heliotrope adds to the vanilla, adds to that tonka or coumarin, and adds a really nice creamy aspect to it. And that's about the time when the rum starts coming in. And you get a nice spiciness coming from the rum. You get this really nice sweetness coming from the rum. And that rum is blended very well with some woods and some patchouli. And I love the way that Aaron does his boozy fragrances. I love the way that Aaron does his fragrances. The way that this transitions throughout the entire fragrance, it's like an everlasting gobstopper effect. You start out fresh and citrusy, then you roll into a nice creaminess, and then you roll into a really nice booziness with a nice patchouli that's adding some depths, some earthiness, a bit of a spicy characteristic, and then some beautiful woods. And now, as I've said before, all of Aaron Terence Hughes fragrances come in these 10 mLs, which is the best way to test drive your fragrances. You can also get a discovery set, which I think has 25 of his fragrances, I believe, which is also an awesome way to test drive before you buy. But Notorious is one that I absolutely adore. And the reason it makes this list, well, it's because it's boozy. So check out Notorious. Coming up next comes from one of my favorite perfumers, though I've got a ton of favorite perfumers. Printemps Rose takes modern perfumery and does some crazy things with it. And this one that I'm about to speak of is Oliver. Now, Oliver. This starts out with this really nice fresh mandarin, and then you kind of roll into this nice mojito note. And the mojito is just that. It's minty. It's got a little bit of that lime citrus quality to it, but you're actually getting more of that mandarin citrus combining with that mojito. But that mojito note also kind of transitions into some fruitiness, like some apricot, some quince. You also have this beautiful magnolia in this. And the magnolia is really the predominant floral. It's sweet, though it almost has a little bit of an earthy quality to it. You're also going to get cypress. And the cypress in this actually kind of does a really good job of either intertwining or creating that mojito note, because cypress can sometimes come off a little minty, a little fresh and green, and that's kind of what I'm getting out of this. You also get some ambergris, and the ambergris is really what you're going to get in the full dry down, mixed in with this really nice green tobacco, this fresh, earthy green tobacco. I love all the transitions. I love the experience that this fragrance brings forth. It's boozy, it's fresh, it's crisp. You get that really nice white florality coming from that magnolia. You get some really nice salty characteristics coming from the ambergris. And it's also adding a nice underlying sweetness to it. And then you get that really nice green tobacco and the full dry down. A very transportive fragrance. I love Oliver. I love Printemps Rose, and I love Stranger's Perfumery. If you like fresh, boozy fragrances that are crisp, they're clean, they're refreshing, then definitely check out Stranger's Perfumery, Oliver. There it is, guys. There's 7 refreshing and crisp, boozy fragrances that I think would be perfect for the spring. Let me know what some of your favorite boozy fragrances are for the spring. But that's it for me today, guys. I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your day. If you enjoyed today's content, then do me a favor and like, comment, share, and subscribe. And always remember, you are stinking beautiful. And until next time, happy scent trails.